Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Apostate Prophet. I am here with a stream that I have not announced very far in advance.
Did you say advance? Were you about to say advance?
I was about to say advance, but then I stopped myself. But you caught it anyway. I tried to save it, but I didn't. I failed. I'm sorry. Advance, yes. But we randomly decided, because I messaged you, and I said, hey, something is going around. This is breaking my heart. This is very, very serious stuff. And why are all you Christians not talking about this? Why is nobody talking about this? Why is nobody addressing this? Why is nobody caring about this? Why is it up to me to stand up? I said. And David said, I know, I understand, and I'm sorry. And you are right. We should go live together and talk about this. That's not really what happened. What actually happened is I said, hey, do you want to go live? Let's talk about this. And he was like, yeah, okay, let's do that. So today in Clown World, hey, that should be the name of our show. Today in Clown World, and then we just talk about current events. Today in Clown World.
You could literally talk about any trending topic and call it Clown World.
Today in Clown World, the phrase Christ is King has been trending. And it is a regular Christian phrase. It is a phrase to acknowledge Christianity, to acknowledge the authority of Jesus, to acknowledge the kingship of Jesus Christ. So what does it have to do with Islam? Why is Sneako using it, who is a Muslim? Yeah, and why is it controversial?
Yeah, it's funny because as a Christian, you'd wake up and see that Christ is King is trending and be like, ooh, this is cool. People are proclaiming that Christ is King. That's cool.
Hallelujah.
Wait a minute. You see Sneako and Andrew Tate saying it, and it's like, wait, something has gotten. Matter of fact, that's exactly what happened earlier today. John McCrae, what do you mean? He messaged me, goes, hey, what's up with like Andrew Tate and Sneako talking about Christ as King? Is there something going on there? Or are they just what's going on? They're like, no, there's something going on. There's something going on. There's a reason to it, ladies and gentlemen. There's a reason to it. And I have to say, I mean, given that I don't have much respect for the intellectual abilities of the people behind this recent trend, it's pretty brilliant. It's evil, but pretty brilliant. And guys, keep in mind, I don't mean Christ is King. I mean, what the stunt that they just pulled. This is not new. It's been going on for a while, but it just took off. A combination of factors came together. So this has been going on for a while. Then a combination of factors, namely lots of anger towards Jews right now, combined to get lots of Muslims on board with it and to be pushing it as well. So now you've got Muslims going around proclaiming Christ is Lord, Christ is King, to stick it to Jews, which is very interesting.
It is very, 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 very interesting. So I see people talk about and ask one question, which is, is saying Christ is King anti-Semitic? And why are they trying to shut this down? Why are they now deciding what we can and can't say? And here is the problem. Here is the issue. I see lots of people go around and say, how dare they tell us what we can and can't say? I will say Christ is King, and I will proudly say it. The issue is I see nobody who is actually saying, hey, don't say that. We're going to shut it down. Don't say that. We are offended. Especially, certain people are arguing that Jews are calling it anti-Semitic and Jews are complaining about it. And I have not seen a single significant Jewish person who has actually complained about the phrase so far.
No, the current debate is Christians explaining why this is trending and saying you should not jump on board this trend because of where it's coming from, versus Christians who are going, what? You're telling me not to say Christ is King? What? So it's mostly Christians arguing. It's mostly Christians arguing about this. One side pointing out who's using this and who's using this for manipulation purposes.
Yeah.
And then just, I mean, and then on the other side, you have a lot of well-meaning people going, what? People are attacking the claim that Christ is king? And then you have all the the Muslims who are using it, and of course all the people who are the ones who set this in motion, namely a bunch of neo-Nazis, white nationalists, and so on, who use it in a again pretty brilliant but evil fashion.
Powerful stuff. So here we have one of these geniuses, one of these fantastic people here, by the name of Sneako, the great respected Islamic scholar Sneako. When I saw this, when I opened Twitter and I saw this, I thought, hey, this is a good development. This is a good development because this guy was one of the most recent people who convert to Islam and are used by the Islamists, and he was paid by the Islamists and so on. But obviously here he left Islam now, and he proclaims Christ is king. So he is once again professing his belief in Christianity. That's what's obviously happening here. David,
hold on.
Go ahead.
That's not the first time Sneako has said Christ is king. I mean, he may have said it many times, but he said it once before where I saw him say it.
Oh.
And where I saw him say it was that famous Nick Fuentes Groyper rally where Fuentes got banned because he actually called for killing Jews. And so he got banned off everything except some weird platform that we had to try and track down what he said on. But in that exact same video, after Nick Fuentes advocated killing Jews, Sneako gets up, declares that Nick Fuentes is inevitably going to be president of the United States, and Sneako declared Christ is king, because that's the saying of the Groypers.
That's funny.
And the crowd burst into cheers.
Now, here's the problem, David, that I have with this, or maybe I just don't understand. I don't know. But so, if somebody came to you outside and said, or if you saw somebody outside who said Christ is king, would you assume that this person is a Christian or a Muslim?
Christian.
So, but why? Why is it a Christian thing? Why should a Muslim not be saying Christ is king? Why would a Christian be saying it only?
Yeah, it's multiple things going on. One, you're calling him the Christ, and if you go to the New Testament, when calling someone the Christ is connected to calling him the Son of God. You see this over and over again. When Jesus asks his disciples, "Who do you say I am?" Peter says, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." Right? Those are connected. Christ, the Son of the living God. In Mark 14, at his Jewish trial, the high priest asked him, "Are you the Christ, the Son of the Blessed One?" Right? So these things are connected. The meaning of Christ is connected to being the Son of God. And so when Islam calls Jesus the Christ, it's like, gosh, you guys don't even know what you're talking about. You don't, because Muhammad didn't understand the theological implications of calling Jesus the Messiah, given the claims that Jesus was making. If Jesus was making these claims and he's the Messiah and he speaks truthfully, then he is who he claimed to be, and he claimed to be the divine Son of God. So you've got Christ, then you're calling him king. So a Muslim can justify this and say, well, we believe that he's the Messiah and that he's going to return to judge and so on. So he's going to return. But if you're saying he's king right now, then he's king in some transcendent sense. He's the ruler. He's ruling over what? He's with Allah, according to Islam. So if he's ruling right now, he is king. He was king back then. He's king now. He's going to return as king in the future. It's you're living right now under the providence of your divine king, Muslims. So yeah, so that's another thing. And yeah, so Christ is king. And so you have those issues, and this all goes back to Muhammad. He didn't understand the implications of some of these things, and neither do his followers right now. And it's pretty hilarious to watch.
Yeah, we want to discuss two things tonight. One of them is what's the problem with the phrase Christ is king? and there is no problem with it. But what is the problem right now about that phrase and with the discussion that is going on? And number two is why in the world are Muslims jumping on this? Because when Muslims hop on this just to own the Jews, what they're actually doing is that they are denouncing or renouncing their Islamic beliefs.
Go ahead. Oh, I just wanted to point out. So you've had Muslims around for 14 centuries. AP, are you familiar with this being a thing about Muslims running around saying Christ is king for 14 centuries? Christ is king. Christ is king. You got Muslim rallies. La ilaha illallah and Christ is king. La ilaha illallah and Christ is king. Do you see this being an ongoing chant? No, it's become a very, very recent thing for them to be running around saying Christ is king. Christ is king. Christ is king, and it's directed at Jews. And so the question is, what's going on here?
As we all know, the Islamic profession, the Islamic phrase to convert to Islam goes, "I testify that there is no God but Allah, and Christ is king," which would be ridiculous. That's not how it goes. If you said that, you would declare yourself a Christian. So David just pointed it out here. There is a history and a theology to the whole phrase "Christ is king" or to Christ the King in Christianity, and the foremost thing to understand here would be that Christ is the authority, the divine authority. He is the authority. The phrase is Christ is king. It's not Christ was king or Christ will be king. It is Christ is king. I know some people are pointing out that I have said the phrase several times now here on stream, and you can clip it and make a compilation of me just saying that 1,000 times. Christ is king. But so when somebody says Christ is king, they are basically affirming that Christ is still at the moment, the divine authority over them, the authority over them in some transcendent sense. So if a Muslim jumps on this bandwagon and it's like, oh, look at this, look at this, perfect opportunity, they're attacking the Jews, let's join in, let's also say Christ is king. What they're actually doing is they are stupidly renouncing their Islamic beliefs and affirming that Christianity is true, that Jesus is also their Lord, and not only the Lord of Christians. So that to them, Jesus is Lord. This is how dumb it is, and this is how dumb. And Sneako is not the only one, by the way. Sneako is stupid. We know. Sneako doesn't know anything. Yes, we know. But there are other people who have joined in on agreeing with him, who are Muslims, or defending this phrase, who are Muslims, and who don't seem to understand what exactly they are saying here.
And not just any Muslims, some of the greatest Muslims of all time, like Andrew Tate.
Andrew Tate, yes, the greatest Islamic scholar, as far as we know. He is one of the greatest Islamic scholars.
And we want people to understand, and by the way, guys, we haven't even gone into the real problem with this yet. We're just pointing out the issue of Muslims calling Christ king. It's like, if you say Henry VIII is king, that makes no sense. He's gone. He's not king anymore. He was king. He's not king anymore. If you say Charles I is king, it doesn't make any sense. He was king. He's not king anymore. If you say, hey, my great-great-grandson will be king, that makes sense. To say that my great-great-grandson is king right now makes absolutely no sense. To say Christ is king, you're saying the Messiah is, even for a Muslim to say this, you're saying that the Messiah, who's in the presence of Allah, is king. He's ruling over everything. And that's very interesting.
You know what's funny? You just brought up Andrew Tate as somebody who is a very famous, very popular Muslim and who said this phrase. Here's Andrew Tate. Here's what he thinks about the phrase, or here's what he thinks about Christ. This is actually from his war room. This is one of the the whole war room folders were all leaked to certain people, who then published everything that they found in the folders of the war room of Andrew Tate's war room, where he posts pimping material and stuff like that. This is directly from there.
Check out who's trending. You zoomed out of it. Check out who's trending.
Who's trending? Nick Fuentes.
Oh, yeah. I wonder why that is with the whole Christ is King thing going on. But yeah, you've got, I know you are looking for Tate, who was crucified. He is not here, for Tate has been resurrected, just as Tate said. Tate is in the war room.
This is Andrew Tate authorizing and spreading a meme of himself, basically depicting himself as Jesus and mocking the word, mocking the narrative about Jesus. And this is this is quite recent. These leaks happened I don't know, within the last year. So this comes directly, for those who are asking who posted this, somebody pointed this out to say, so Milk Bar posted this. He said, Andrew Tate, Christ is King, also Andrew Tate. Yes, he made this meme. This is directly from his own space, from his own war room. His own people actually created this and posted this. And he's aware of it. He shared it in the past, I believe. So that is, this basically says everything we need to know about Andrew Tate at this point within this discussion. He doesn't care. He just uses current memes. He just uses the current opportunity to make himself relevant, to say something, to appeal to his new friends, the Muslims, and so on, without even understanding it, actually. Speaking of Sneako, have you seen this, David?
No. Is this, when is this from?
I almost called you Andrew Tate.
Well, I am the top G.
I think this was recent, wasn't it?
It's the Holy. What the hell is the Holy Spirit? And then you go up. It's the Holy. What the hell is the Holy Spirit? And then you go up and you take your first communion. You're eating the body of Christ in a cracker. So is this cannibalism? Why am I eating a cracker? What part of the body of Jesus is this? Is this the toe part of Jesus am I eating? Is it the butt? It's his body. Kids are drinking wine. Kids are getting drunk. It's the blood. It's wine. Why are we giving kids alcohol? And you're drinking Jesus' blood? It's a little satanic to be drinking a dude's blood.
Yeah, there's Sneako, who proclaims that Christ is King.
This is what Sneako thinks about Christian beliefs, Christian practices. This is what Sneako thinks about Jesus. This is what Sneako thinks about the Holy Spirit. But he will jump on the bandwagon and say Christ is King just to attack Jews.
Indeed.
And this is a perfect place to start the conversation, actually, which is why I'm going with Sneako. The entire purpose here, when Sneako uses this phrase and says Christ is King, his purpose here is not to affirm beliefs in Jesus. His purpose is not to stand with Christians. His purpose is not to respect Jesus. His purpose is none of these things. The purpose here is entirely to attack Jews. That's all there is, and that's what the whole controversy is about. All day today, the phrase "Christ is King" was trending, and people were arguing about it forever. Oh, this guy is pointing on Sneako. This isn't Islamically correct. Jesus was not a king or the king. He was a mere mortal like all of us. Allah is the only king.
Well, yeah, because that's one of Allah's 99 names.
This tweet is kind of stupid. The way this guy objects to it makes no sense. Jesus was not a king or the king. He was a mere mortal like all of us.
Yeah, that's pretty stupid reasoning. Like, you can't be a king. You can't be a... So, a couple issues. One, that's stupid. You can be a king and be a mere mortal.
Yeah.
Saying that Christ is king now, again, he's in the presence of Allah. He is currently king, means he is reigning. Reigning over what? What is he king over? He's just king. He's just king over what? Over creation? What is he king over right now? He's, in other words, he's not he is not the he's not like king of Russia or something like that. Although he is king in a sense that would be meaningful to Christians. He would be king over everything, king of kings. So very interesting. Hey, is that Nick Fuentes?
Yeah, this is Nick Fuentes. And you also see here the trend immediately. So this is on the Sneako's post. 1,000 likes. Just a picture of Nick Fuentes proclaiming Christ is King. And so the Groypers are here. The Groypers, who are Nick Fuentes' people who try to sneak into any conservative or Christian space and infiltrated and infected with neo-Nazi ideas, are here. Christ is King, says another Groiper posting. The froggy Pepe. Yeah. For a second, I forgot the name. Another one posting Nick Fuentes.
Isn't it Pepe or something?
Pepe, yeah, Pepe. Rare Sneako W. Okay, well, fantastic. And one of the main people actually who started turning this big non-issue into an issue is of course Candace Owens, because Candace Owens initially caused this whole discussion. Hold on, I have to quickly find Candace Owens's post here and open it from my incognito tab, because she blocked me, so I can't look at her tweets, which prevents me from doing my great journalistic work here, but whatever. So she tweeted earlier today. She said, "The reason why some people believe that with enough insistence they can convince American Christians that the basic truth, Christ is King, is actually anti-Semitic, is because they have been successfully spiking the ball on Christianity for the past 60 years. First off, nobody is actually... The only people who hinted at this being anti-Semitic were some from within the Christian circle who made such a suggestion, but who didn't even say that the phrase itself is anti-Semitic. Nobody ever suggested such a thing. No significant person anywhere suggested such a thing. So she is talking about something that never happened. The discussion is about something that never happened. Correct me if I'm wrong, David. Did you see anybody who said, "Oh, no, we shouldn't use the phrase. The phrase is anti-Semitic"?
No, the warning came about the people who are using it. And matter of fact, let me go ahead and break all this down for viewers, AP, because you still will have people watching right now going, "What? Why are you guys? Why would that be an issue? How could that be? How could that be an issue where Christians would even question the claim that Christ is King?" Let's talk about a different movement that used the exact same method, which I can't prove this, but I would guess Nick Fuentes got this from Black Lives Matter. He got the tactic, the scheme from Black Lives Matter. So Black Lives Matter, the people who started that movement were Marxists, trained Marxists who trained and studied how to infiltrate the West, a Western audience. Well, guess what? You can't go to a Western audience and say, "Hey, we're Marxists. We want to spread Marxism here." It won't work. When you say Marxism, people aren't listening to you. They're not going to take that seriously. So what do? Black Lives Matter. In a perfect situation where you have a lot of tension because you had the police and you had the shootings that have been going on, that were all over the news, and they jump in there with Black Lives Matter, and they use that as a shield for Marxists, for their Marxist ideology that they're marching with. And there was also a component to it that was just a complete grift. They are trying to get millions of dollars in donations, and what do they do with it? They like bought mansions and stuff. And Candace, to her credit, she actually exposed that. She showed where the funds that were being donated to Black Lives Matter were actually going. These guys are, again, buying mansions and stuff. But notice, you can't sell Marxism to a Western audience, but you can wrap it up in the claim Black Lives Matter. Now think about the claim Black Lives Matter. Who would object to that besides a complete scumbag, like the most racist person in the world? Who would object to the claim that Black Lives Matter? Black Lives Matter. Who would object to that claim? And they're going around, say Black Lives Matter. You have to support Black Lives Matter. You have to send donations to Black Lives Matter. And then wait a minute, I actually got a problem with this movement. Oh, see, this person is against Black Lives Mattering. This person's a racist. Like, wait a minute, no. You're using that as a shield for your actual agenda and the ideology that you're promoting. This isn't about Black Lives Mattering. That's not what you're using that for. You're using that to dupe a bunch of people into siding with your organization, and you're using it as a weapon so that anyone who objects to your actual agenda and your actual goals, you can demonize them by saying they're against Black Lives Mattering. Brilliant strategy. So keep in mind the parallel here. Marxists, very difficult to sell in the West. Marxism is very difficult to sell. So what do? You put a mask on it. You use Black Lives Matter as a shield. You use the slogan as a shield, right? Guess what? Neo-Nazis trying to sell a white nationalist agenda. We want a white Christian nation only. Well, every Christian I know is going to think that's insane and idiotic. So you're not going to be able to sell that to a Christian audience. We want a white nation of only white Christians. Almost no one's interested in that. Remember, Nick Fuentes was bragging about his 500 followers. We're going to take over the world because we've got 500 followers and so on. Okay, no one's going to buy that. So what do? You start saying Christ is king. You start saying Christ is king. And when people object to what you're saying, what? Oh, this person's got a problem with saying Christ is king. And these guys, their main enemy is the Jews. The main enemy of the Nick Fuentes crew is the Jews. That's what they're obsessed with. Almost every tweet is about Jews. So they weaponize it against Jews. And I've read a bunch of the tweets that are like, you filthy, slimy Jew. Jesus is king. Christ is king. They'll say it right after including all that. And then when someone objects, it's, oh, you see, they're against Christ being king. They're against that. And so you have this, again, using the exact same methodology that Black Lives Matter used. Marxism is a hard sell. Wrap it up in the slogan, Black Lives Matter. Neo-Nazi, white nationalist, white supremacist stuff, pretty hard to sell to most people. Wrap it up in the claim that Christ is king. Do that. And then when anyone attacks your group and your goals and your agenda, you say, what? They're attacking the claim that Christ is king. Everyone, Christians, do you see what they're doing? Muslims, do you see what they're doing? And that's why you got Muslims jumping on the bandwagon. They know it. Muslims didn't wake up one day and say, aha, we're going to declare that Christ is king. It's not. They say that this is being used by neo-Nazis against Jews, and they definitely want to be part of that bandwagon.
Look at this. I just saw this tweet. It says they're starting to suspect Ben Shapiro might be Jewish. Nothing gets past these people. This is another neo-Nazi supposed Christian nationalist guy saying, he cites Ben Shapiro, where Ben Shapiro is asked about Jesus and about Jewish views on Jesus, and he gives several different perspectives on Jesus during this conversation with Joe Rogan. One of them, he says he was a Jew who tried to lead a revolt against the Romans and got killed and so on. But he says, obviously, I don't believe in the resurrection of Jesus. I don't believe in Jesus, he says, which is, yeah, the Jewish thing to do. If you did, you would probably be a Christian. And this guy is pointing out that Ben Shapiro said these things, and he said, I don't believe in the Jesus. I don't know if this is just a confirmation or an admission by these people that they are completely stupid, or if this is a very poor attempt at winning Christians over. I don't even get it. This is what we're dealing with. These are the people who are trying to steer the conversations today. Anyway, inch by inch, by pretending to be our friends and making us fearful of having the media project us as overzealous, is how they have scored so many wins. It's how mocking Christ has become commonplace in Hollywood. Okay, you could say that. Completely irrelevant to the discussion at hand, though. The reality is that they accuse us of what they are guilty of. They hold contempt for Christianity. The reality is that Christ consciousness is rising throughout the world, and any person who is attempting to use methods of psychology to make people pause before they profess their faith is not on the side of goodness.
Yeah, so this is Candace making it look like it's people who hate Christ coming from the outside and saying, you can't say Christ is king. That's anti-Semitic. No, it's Christians. It's mainly Christians who know that this is being kicked off by neo-Nazis and white supremacists to weaponize, to conceal their own motives by weaponizing a slogan and getting Muslims on board so that everyone can be united and so that they can all hide behind the slogan, Christ is king, so that when they are criticized, when these groups are criticized for racism, for anti-Semitism and so on, they can just say, what? We're just saying that Christ is king. That's all we're saying. What? All we said was Black Lives Matter. Why are you accusing us of being Marxists?
Now, David, if I was a Christian, I don't know how to express this from as an outsider, right? But if I was a Christian and I saw Kenneth say these things, knowing what's actually going on here, I personally would feel disgusted by Candace, and I would feel disgusted by these crowds who are driving this narrative and who are pushing this weird this weird narrative that is going on here. Because what is happening here is that Candace is pretty much, as it seems, okay, there is a possibility that she's really dumb and she doesn't understand what's going on, but the more likely possibility, I would say, is that she is basically using Christianity for her own agenda, for her own popularity, to be relevant, to have a fight going on, to pit people against each other. I don't know, whatever it is, but she is using Christianity. She is creating a straw man here, that people are saying that Christ is king is anti-Semitic. Nobody is saying that, and specifically, this is not being said by people who hate Christianity or who hate Christ and who are trying to forbid it or trying to ban it. Nobody, there is no such person. Who is there? Who is there? Which Christian hater, which person who is against Christianity has come out and said, "Oh, I am against this. You shall not say this phrase because the phrase is anti-Semitic." Who did this? Who said such a thing? There was nobody who said such a thing. And one person earlier suggested that the person at Daily Wire, what's his name, Jeremy Boring, said it. No, he didn't. He didn't say that the phrase is anti-Semitic. He did not.
Yeah, I saw the Andrew Clavin clip, and he said it was being used as an anti-Semitic dog whistle.
Yeah,
which is exactly what's going. That is 100% true. Now, there are other things to object to in there from a Christian perspective that he said, but that's exactly what's going on. It's Nick Fuentes and the Groypers and Sneako, who's buddies with them, and a bunch of neo-Nazis and white supremacists taking a phrase to shield their view from criticism, so that when they're blasting, every time they're blasting Jews, they're attaching Christ is king to it, so that anytime anyone objects, they say, "What are you talking about?" See, we're just claiming Christ is king, man. We're just claiming Christ is king.
No, I haven't read this tweet, but this is what people go back to and say, "Look, this guy actually did say it." Let's look at it, because I saw a later tweet in which he basically reaffirmed what is being said here. Apparently, let's read this together and let's see if this guy is actually saying that that Christ is king is anti-Semitic and nobody should say it. So Jeremy Boring, he's the CEO of Daily Wire at the moment. How is saying Christ is king?
First of all, isn't that a name you would want to change if your name was Boring? Really? Would you want to start a media company if your name was literally Boring?
Yeah, especially if you're in charge of a media company, you should probably change your last name.
Yeah, boring media, everyone. Yeah. Welcome to Boring Media. Anyway, sorry.
Change it to enjoyable. Change it to
I'm just a fan of, if you have a name that may have been a perfectly good name in some other country many, many years ago, and it sounds like something completely different now, just go ahead and change your name, man.
Yeah, yeah. So it says, how is saying Christ is king anti-Semitic? The same way anything becomes anti-Semitic when it is used for the purpose of expressing anti-Semitism. So far, completely logical, and I agree with it entirely. It's like asking, how does a shovel become a murder weapon? When it is used to murder someone, this isn't hard. A shovel is not innately a murder weapon. Saying Christ is king is not innately anti-Semitic. It's all about how a thing is used. Saying eat some cornbread is not racist if I say it to my 3-year-old when she's refusing her dinner. If I start saying it as a response to X posts by black commentators I don't like, it has taken on a meaning beyond what is innate. In other words, it is connotatively racist, not denotatively racist. So, too, Christ is king may be anti-Semitic in connotation, while not in denotation when it is being used to express anti-Semitism. When did this become so? Okay, I have one criticism here. I very much agree with what he's saying. However, I think he is losing this battle by using too many words in an online meme discussion. and making it too complicated.
Yeah, this should be in meme form.
This comparison is very much on point. Nobody can say a shovel is... You can't use a shovel. How can you use a shovel? It's a murder weapon. How can you use a shovel? It's a murder weapon. Don't you think about all the murder victims? You will be seen as a murderer if you use a shovel. Well, nobody can say this. But if you use it to actually murder somebody, then in that case, you have used it as a murder weapon. In this case, I guess if you could break down what he says about Christ is king being anti-Semitic, I would word it differently and say the phrase Christ is king itself is not anti-Semitic and does not become at any point anti-Semitic. You use it in an anti-Semitic way if you specifically jump on the bandwagon of these neo-Nazis who set up the situation this way and join their train and use it against Jews and post memes about Jews while saying Christ is king. Then you are using it for anti-Semitism. That's basically what's happening. And
yeah,
how can you deny that?
Yeah, and likewise, the claim or the slogan, Black Lives Matter, is true and correct and good if it's used by Marxists to promote a Marxist agenda and you object to it on that basis. Say, okay, when did it become Marxist? If it's being used by Marxists to shield themselves from criticism, to shield their real goals from criticism. So you could take pretty much anything and do this, anything that's true. And by the way, that's why you pick these things. You don't pick some saying that no one's going to agree with. You pick a saying that tons of people are going to agree with, and you use that to cloak what you're really up to, which is what these guys are doing.
Additionally, saying Christ is king for an evil purpose, like using it as a weapon to express your hatred or disdain for the Jews, is a grave sin. It plainly violates the third commandment, thou shalt not carry forth the name of the Lord thy God in vain. Is this guy a I don't know what he is. Is he Catholic?
I would guess he's Catholic.
Yeah.
So he's pointing out, yes, he's pointing out, and I would agree with that. If you're using the claim just for some agenda and not to proclaim that Christ is king, that would be pretty parallel to using the name of the Lord in vain. Like just babbling it rather than meaning what you're saying.
So this is the funny thing. This very much brings it to the point. This guy himself is a Christian. He's not Jewish. So the guy at whom everyone is pointing is like, look, they are trying to say this is anti-Semitic. He's a Christian. He is a Christian. Okay, little Salty said he's evangelical. Okay, could be. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Surely if I rape and murder someone like Hamas did on 10/7, and all the while I shout at them, Christ is king or God is great, we would agree that I have committed 3 grievous crimes, not 2. Rape, yes. Murder, yes. But also the great crime of implicating God in the first 2 crimes.
Correct.
You're bringing God into it and using it in such a malicious way. So one must be cautious how one uses the name of God. God will not be mocked. Invoking him in vain, self-promotion, or to troll Jews, or to attack your political rivals is to carry forth his name in vain. How is this controversial? I feel like anyone who has an issue with this either didn't read this, didn't understand this, or just doesn't want to listen to anything and just wants to attack Jews. That's it.
Yeah, no, this is easy to fall for, which is why so many people are falling for it. If you just jump in this conversation in the middle of nowhere, you see Christ is king trending, and you click on it and you see a bunch of people posting Christ is king. You think, wow, that's great. That's good. People are proclaiming Christ is king. And then you see people objecting to it, going, no, this is anti-Semitic. This is anti-Semitic. It's anti-Semitic to say this sort of thing. You say, what the heck is wrong with you, man? How much you actually believe Christ is king if you're saying it's a hateful claim. So they have no idea what's going on, and they don't know the background that this is a bunch of neo-Nazis trying to hijack something in order to manipulate gullible people into joining them in hating Jews. So it is being used for an anti-Semitic purpose, just
Look
as
at this.
Black Lives Matter was used for a Marxist purpose.
Look at this. 10,000 likes.
Mhm.
10,000 likes. Retweeted 1,000 times. Does this look like this guy is just praising Christ, is just acknowledging the authority of Christ? Does this look like this guy is just being a good Christian? Does this look like that?
Mm-mm. No.
He is depicting a white Christian,
blonde hair.
white Christian
White.
with blonde hair and blue eyes.
If he's got blonde hair and blue eyes, then it's white.
And then a stereotypical Jew saying, "You're literally holocausting me." And the irony of all of this is that, as said earlier,
It's not the Jews. It's not the Jews.
I scrolled through Twitter and I couldn't find a single Jew complaining about the phrase. All I see is neo-Nazis saying, why are they offended by this, filthy Jews? And then some others falling for it and saying, I will proudly say it. And some Christians saying, yeah, maybe just don't say it right now. That's it. There is no Jew commenting on this.
Oh boy.
This is the world that we're living in. That's why that's why I call it clown world.
And by the way, we've been saying this. Jordan Peterson was saying this. We've talked about it many times when Jordan Peterson points out that when these situations, the disasters and conflicts and so on arise, people with the dark tetrad of characteristics use those situations to gain support for their agendas and what they want. So your narcissists, your psychopaths, your Machiavellians, and your sadists. And by the way, lots of the groypers would actually fall into the sadist category. Lots of the online trolls who just go around trying to cause they actually fall into the sadist category, but they use every situation to get what they want, and they have some sick ideas. And so this is exactly what's going on right now. There's a big conflict. You got Jews and Palestinians, you got Muslims, you got other groups who are taking sides and so on. And this is the perfect opportunity, if you're a neo-Nazi, to use something to cause division.
And look at this. Nobody in the comment section is understanding it. Jake Shields is saying Christ is king, as if somebody's telling him not to say it. Kim Iverson, who is the brightest person always in the room, says, no, it isn't. Jews are not a race. It's a religious group, and Christians believe Jews will convert and accept Jesus as their savior sooner or later. Denying this belief and telling Christians they are anti-Semitic for saying so is actually quite anti-Christian. Okay? I don't know what you're responding to, Kim Iverson, because nobody ever said anything that requires this response. It doesn't even make sense. Lauren Chen said, you say Christ is king is anti-Semitic. I don't know much about her. I have sometimes seen that she had some good takes, and sometimes she just starts riding these circles that do some really dumb things.
Yeah, she got popular for a while, and then I haven't seen anything from her in a long time.
She is again responding to saying, I've seen people complain that it's being said in bad faith to Jews. I do not believe this is possible. Okay, well, then
Really? She doesn't think that Nick Fuentes, when he gets his crowd saying Christ is king after his rants on why they need to kill Jews, she doesn't think that's being said in bad faith to Jews.
Nick Fuentes is a person who goes on his own podcast and says Jews are filthy. Jews are filthy slime bags. We should deal with them. That's what he says. I'm quoting him verbatim. He says he talks about a full-fledged fight against the Jews, and they will get what's coming for them. We will destroy them, and so on. These are the things that Nick Fuentes says. Nick Fuentes says that Jewishness should be destroyed. Together with democracy, should also be destroyed, and America should become a white Christian nation where people will be forced to respect whiteness and Christianity. These are things that he proclaims. He praises Hitler. He praises Nazi Germany. he praises part of the Holocaust and denies the rest of it, and so on. The guy is a neo-Nazi. He says it just to spite people and just to attract people to his own side. And he is acting like Jews are complaining about it, and Jews are not complaining about it. As said, find me a major Jewish person who is complaining about it. Just find me one person. Find me a name. Somebody post a link to an actual relevant Jewish person who says, "Don't say this phrase. The phrase is anti-Semitic. I don't want to hear it anymore. Somebody should ban this." There is no such thing going on. This is a non-issue created by these neo-Nazis, and people are falling for it.
I just looked up Lauren Chen because, again, she was popular years ago. I'm looking at her recent videos. 2 days ago, 7.9 thousand, which, I mean, for like a newish YouTuber, 7,000 views on a video would be a lot. For someone with 556,000 subscribers, how are you getting 7,000 views on a video? 13,000, 28,000, 14,000, 6.8 thousand 2 weeks ago. After 2 weeks, 6.8 thousand on her video. So yeah, I don't know.
I look at this. Here's also a clarification by Jeremy Boring, the CEO of Daily Wire. Once again, this guy says, "Jeremy, I respect all you have accomplished and all you continue to do at Daily Wire. I'm a loyal supporter. I just don't think people should let bad people hijack a religious phrase."
Now that is a key issue. That is an important issue. So what do you do in this situation, right? Like you can't let the neo-Nazis hijack it so that you can't say it anymore. In other words, you can't just ruin the phrase forever so that you can never say Christ is king anymore because it's associated with neo-Nazi stuff. So you got to figure out what to do. It's relevant to be concerned about that. But I'll just say, if you got a bunch of neo-Nazis running around using it this way, this is not a good time to say, "Hey, you know what? I really need to be proclaiming Christ is king," in those words, the exact same words that are being used as a slogan by the neo-Nazis right now.
AT says, "Debate Fuentes." I already said it last time when he was watching our live stream, when we were on Inspiring Philosophy, and he was actually watching it live, and he was commenting on it, and he was posting screenshots of the stream in on his Telegram channel. I said it right there. If he wants to join, if he wants to have a conversation, I might do it and would even have an exchange with him, maybe a debate under the proper circumstances. I doubt that he is going to do it. So not sure why you're bothering me with this. And yeah, he's a filthy neo-Nazi. So that's that.
Absolute garbage human being.
Terrible
and
person.
Guys, that should
he should follow his leader. He should follow his leader.
Yeah, that should be a clue, ladies and gentlemen. When you see Nick Fuentes saying something, and Sneako goes with Nick Fuentes, and Andrew Tate goes with Sneako, and they're all saying this, as a Christian, there should be a red flag right there. Wait a minute, it's a neo-Nazi and his buddy and this other guy who's a sex trafficker, and they're all jumping on the same bandwagon right now. Maybe this isn't a time to agree with these guys, even if they're saying something true. Maybe I need to take a look at this real quick to see what they're actually up to right now. Anyway, I just want to point out. So, guys, this is not devout Christians saying Christ is king in a gospel-centered way. It's not. This is some people with some really evil, wicked ideas saying Christ is king to manipulate Christians into being on the same side of an issue with them. Don't fall for that sort of thing.
Yeah. I don't know why a bunch of groypers gathered here again, bunch of Nick Fuentes fans.
They can't stay away.
All I want to say, guys, my sincere, honest opinion on Nick Fuentes is I suggest that he should do what his favorite person in history did. He should do what he did in the end. That's my suggestion. That's what I honestly think about Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes should do what his great hero from the 20th century eventually did.
What are you turning into hijab talking to people like that? No. Nick Fuentes, you should.
What are you talking about? What hijab? What are you talking about, man? I'm not saying anything bad. So if I'm saying if you admire somebody so much, follow them in their footsteps and do what they did in the end.
I think he should quit being a freaking moron, give up his stupid, evil ideas. And even if you want to keep your stupid, evil ideas, quit wrapping them up in Christianity to manipulate Christians. It's you're gonna have an extra dose of judgment on you in the future here, sport.
I don't even get how this happens.
Moron.
This guy's obviously not somebody who views this channel. He says Ape has a curious nose because I have Ape on the screen.
He's a Jew. He's
this guy obviously. This guy doesn't know who we are, doesn't know who what this is. This guy came because he's a Nick Fuentes fan. How does this even happen? There is something admirable about these imbeciles. That as soon as you start talking about them, they suddenly start turning up and increasing very quickly, like
roaches,
rats.
Rats, roaches.
Yeah. Very, very interesting. Anyway, so Jeremy Boring said, of course not. Christ is king, as I said in my post. Say it loud, say it proud. If what you mean is that Jesus Christ is king. If you have other motives, if you are trying to express your hate or disdain for someone, or promote yourself or your gang, or justify some evil, try not taking the Lord's name in vain instead.
Yeah, so to sum up there, if you are talking to an Orthodox Jew, because you have Messianic Jews and they believe that Jesus is Lord. If you are talking to a Jew who does not believe in Jesus, you want to say Christ is king, and your goal is to show him that Jesus is the Messiah, that conversation would go, hey, you don't believe that that Jesus is the Messiah. I believe Jesus is the Messiah. Let's go ahead and look at the prophecies and so on about him, and I'll explain to you why I believe that he's the Messiah, and I'd be interested in seeing why you don't believe that. Perfectly acceptable in those situations. Say Christ is king, Jesus is Lord, Jesus is the Messiah. What is your intent? You're not trying to be evil or something. If it's if you're just using it because you're a neo-Nazi and you're using it as a shield, so that when people object to your neo-Nazi ideology, you say, what? We just believe Christ is king. All right, you're a scumbag. You're a scumbag. And you need to stop that.
Oh,
hey, look, this person saw it too. Christ is king has become like Black Lives Matter. Absolutely. Yeah, I noticed the exact same thing.
Yeah. This guy's a dictator, he says, so that means you are also a dictator if you came up with the same idea.
Darn.
Good.
I forgot about
That's good.
I agreed with a theocratic dictator.
This guy said Christ is king, Christ is king, Christ is king, Christ is king, Christ is king. I see nothing wrong here. See? Nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. Lizzie says Christians ignore the campaign to mark Christ is king as anti-Semitic. Again, I still have to see somebody who actually suggests that the phrase is anti-Semitic. Still waiting for anyone to prove this. There are even people in the chat who say, oh, you're just denying it. Of course, they're saying that. Where? Just show me. Ignore it with all your might. Christ is king, and every knee will bow and confess that he is Lord. Okay. Yes, be proud. Confess to your faith. Be happy with it. Good. Do it. Do it.
You were about to declare it, AP. I saw.
Do it now.
You're like, I just got back from Israel and it's Easter week. Oh, I can't resist.
I'm almost. Here's somebody saying Joel Berry of the Babylon Bee says that Nick Fuentes and Groipas have taken advantage of the phrase Christ is king. W. Nick Fuentes for reigniting the passion behind this phrase. How stupid.
He's not igniting a passion for the phrase. He manipulated a bunch of people into joining into indirectly defending his group. That's what he did.
This is so
and into getting himself trending again, which we saw literally during this live stream. We saw him trending.
There is one thing which has to be said, which is that these groypers are really are big cowards. You know, like they have to hide behind euphemisms, behind certain phrases, behind things to kind of sneak into the discussion instead of just outright saying what they think. It is kind of pathetic. You know, it's not very manly. They're always trying to be very manly, not very manly. Freg J. Fleming said, it is disgusting to see anti-Semites adopt the slogan, Christ is king, to cloak their hate. I'm going to misinterpret that as you telling me I can't say Christ is king and then get angry. Okay, cool. That's what the internet is for. Pretty much. That's what's happening here. That's what's happening here. The entire conservative establishment is playing the most epic game of mental gymnastics to explain why a black woman and a 25-year-old commentator saying Christ is king is anti-Semitic. You will never have a better opportunity to identify who the paid shills are. Again, the straw man right here. Since people only understand memes nowadays, I want to turn this into a meme and say, are those people who say Christ is king is anti-Semitic in the room with us right now? No, they are not. I hope that they understand that. This is the language of today's generation. We old people, we don't get it, David. Censored Men, which is one of the smartest accounts on Twitter, said things modern day conservatism supports: transgender conservatives, gay baby stealing conservatives, Israel first conservatives, Jewish supremacist conservatives, saying Christ is king is anti-Semitic conservatives. Let's see, who says that? I guess they are saying that this guy, John Clavin, says that Christ is king.
Andrew Clavin. Andrew Clavin, get his name right. But yeah, he said it's being used as an anti-Semitic dog whistle, which is exactly how it's being used. And you got people, I mean, Nick Fuentes, I mean, he's probably giggling himself silly that people are actually falling for this right now. But it was the perfect time. It was the perfect time.
Yeah. He also never suggested that saying Christ is king is anti-Semitic. So, again, straw man here. And this account, which has been just part of the most disgusting campaigns on Twitter so far, is pushing that very same narrative as well. Who was that? AP, do you support Israel? Yes, I do. Yes, I support Israel. I support Israel. I support Israel. I support Israel. Talmudic Tunnels and Constructions Inc. said, I'm surprised groypers took a break from watching Rick and Morty to come into the chat. Don't be so mean. You're going to send them all crying. Man, this is really, really bad. Great Bingus says, you literally alluded to suicide mere minutes ago. The effing irony, AP. I don't know what you're talking about. Why would I ever allude to suicide? Why would I ever do this?
Yeah, that is an issue. I mean, all I recall him saying was he should do what his hero did. So
yeah. Who's AP, hero?
AP didn't even say who his hero is. How would we know who his hero is, right?
Yeah, and why would you see as a hero
do you know who his hero is? Great Bingus. Who's his hero?
And his hero committed suicide? Why would you consider that a hero?
Wait, what hero of Nick Fuentes committed suicide?
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, we want to know. We got a Nick Fuentes fan saying that his hero committed suicide. Who was his hero? Who committed suicide? We want to know.
Yeah, don't be ridiculous, Great Bingus. Not sure what you're talking about. Lauren Shen said, to everyone lamenting that. Do you say lamenting? Is that
lamenting?
Right? Lamenting. Okay, good. As an immigrant, it's hard for me to sometimes.
Yeah, you don't know good English. I go.
That those proclaiming Christ is king aren't merely using it as a statement of faith. You're right. People aren't just using it as a statement of faith. It's also a statement of fact. And pertinently, it's becoming a statement of intent. When I see people writing Christ is king, what I see are people saying they intend to stand for Christ, even amidst those who tell them not to and who try to silence them. I'm still wondering who is trying to silence these people. And I wouldn't say that these people who are just using this phrase now for a political point are people who are very compassionate about Christ. I personally don't think that is true, but that's just me.
No, I'm sure you have some, but they're falling for it. They're falling
Yeah.
for they got duped. It's like there were plenty of people saying Black Lives Matter who just believe Black Lives Matter. They're not interested in Marxism. They're not interested in everything else that the organization was attached to. They believe that just, hey, I support this because Black lives do matter. And those were the target audience. You know, if you have a bunch of people who believe something, you can use something, some claim that is important to them for a grift.
That's true. Okay. This is nothing controversial. Nobody has a problem with it. Oh gosh.
Jake Shields.
Whenever I see this guy, my brain dies once again.
This guy.
The definition of anti-Semitism is always changing. Only a Jew can determine what anti-Semitism is. If a Jew saying Christ is king is anti-Semitic, then it is so shut up, goy. This guy went from, I don't have any problem with Jews, to hardcore anti-Jew within just a few months. It's very, very nice. With all the new hate speech laws that will get you thrown in prison soon. Here, Jake Shields is once again suggesting, as a great commentator and journalist with great knowledge, he says only a Jew can determine what anti-Semitism is. And apparently Jews suggested that Christ is king is anti-Semitic. I am once again asking, where are those Jews? Are they in the room with us right now? Where are they? Where are those Jews who say the phrase Christ is king is anti-Semitic? Where are they? Show me. Shawnity says Candace Owens created her account in June of 2017. The first time she tweeted Christ is king was in November of 2023. How dull do you have to be not to see through this obvious grift? Now, to be fair, it could be that Candace just recently became very, very passionate about her Christian belief. Could be.
Yeah, look at the date there. That's really, so that's November 14th. That's when she started. That's when she was having her fallout with the Daily Wire, right? And that's when she became the hero of lots of Muslims, lots of. I mean, keep in mind, you can have you can definitely have sincere people who aren't evil, calling for ceasefire and things like that. You can be that, but the people who started rallying around her after that were the people who really don't like Jews of various groups. And so then she says it in that context.
Gorno's Bulldozer at AP, why does your face look curved? Everyone's face looks curved.
Yeah.
Did you just notice that?
But you don't look like not SpongeBob SquarePants. His face is flat. His face is flat.
American Exceptionalist said, David Wood, have you read the Quran? It's genuinely funny. David, have you ever heard of this book called the Quran?
Yeah, I've read the Quran. I mean, there are stupid parts that are funny, but my goodness, I mean, it's like Jeremy in that it's boring. That's the word I would use to describe the Quran. Boring.
Gentile News Network says, really makes you wonder why the Jew fears Christ so much.
The Jew fears him.
The Jews. Oh, man. And always you will find somebody post this child.
Well, why'd you copy his mustache then? Or is he copying you trying to infiltrate the AP crowd?
You know what's funny about Nick Fuentes? There was a thing. There were these leaked messages that came out one day between Milo and Nick Fuentes, where Milo is basically giving him orders on, like, he's saying, you don't look serious and tough enough. You put on a greater coat or something to make yourself look bigger. Wear sunglasses. Yeah,
it does. He looks like
stronger. This doesn't please.
He looks like a 16-year-old kid in a basement. That's exactly what he looks like. He looks like he looks like a 16-year-old kid whose mustache just came in, who realized he can get popular. If I just complain about Jews all the time, there's enough people in the world. If I just complain about Jews all the time.
And well, why do I sound like this? Maybe if we get rid of the Jews, maybe I will sound like an adult one day. I don't know.
That's weird. You got to agree with Milo on that one. The guy looks like a dork, right? He looks like a dork.
Like a little weasel. A little weasel. A little weasel. Complete dork. People claiming that saying Christ is king is anti-Semitic is one of the most retarded things I've ever seen. I agree.
Pot, meat, kettle.
I agree. I just haven't seen anyone say that so far.
Yeah, it's always you know what this reminds me of? You know what this reminds me of, really? This where you can convince tons of people that someone is saying something and they're not actually saying it. I'm talking like thousands of times I've heard Muslims say. Matter of fact, I've heard Muslims giving lectures to audiences and saying, the Christians claim that Jesus is the Son of God just because he had no father.
Mm-hmm.
And when they say that, I point out to them that Adam had no father, so that makes Adam the Son of God. And the Muslim audience bursts into cheers. The Muslim audience bursts into cheers. Yeah, you've destroyed the Christians. But I've heard, I mean, it used to be way worse, but I used to hear it all day, every day. Oh, you Christians say that Jesus is the Son of God just because he had no father. But what about Adam? Here's the thing. I've never once in my life heard a Christian say, not a Christian apologist, not a Christian in general, just say, oh yeah, when we say Jesus, the Son of God, we just mean he had no father. Because yeah, then it would follow. Then it would follow that that you could say make the exact same case about Adam. It's just they convince the entire ummah, they convince the entire Muslim community that Christians are saying something that Christians aren't saying, and then they respond to an argument that Christians aren't making, as you put. That's what's called a straw man. That's called a straw man. You're refuting something that you made up, just like the claim that everyone's running around going, the claim that Christ is king is anti-Semitic. If you say Christ is king, that's an anti-Semitic claim. And then they're all rallying around. This is what people are saying. And you guys, it's a big straw man. You're making up a claim.
Yeah.
And then attacking it.
That is very, very, very much true. Somebody earlier said, and I'm trying to find that comment, AP, you're using bad logic today. Oh, yeah, here. Deus Ex Machina said, AP is using bad logic today. Absence of immediate proof isn't proof of something not occurring. I agree with him, but things can exist outside his perception. Let me get this straight, dear Deus Ex Machina 11S. Let me get this straight. I am sitting here and saying I have so far not seen a single significant Jewish voice complain about the phrase and say it is anti-Semitic. You are saying, well, it is happening. You're just not seeing it. Absence of immediate proof isn't proof that it's not occurring.
Yeah.
However, and we have all of Twitter. We have all of Twitter talking about this. All the Groypers talking about this, all the Jew haters joining in, and some well-meaning Christians being deceived by these people joining in, talking about this. But you can really not point at a single one who is actually saying this. And your response now, when asked for proof, is, well, just because you don't see it, just because there is no proof, that doesn't mean it's not happening. It's probably happening somewhere. Okay, so we are talking about something that nobody knows is actually happening.
And keep in mind, because you obviously haven't read every single tweet in the world. So you don't know what every Jew in the world has said. But what did you say? You said, if someone is saying it, show it to me.
Yeah.
You said, okay, if I'm wrong here, I've looked, I searched for it, I couldn't find it. If I'm wrong, show me an account of a prominent Jew who is saying that the phrase Christ is king is anti-Semitic. Show me that.
Oh, wait. People have proof. Wait. They're saying the ADL said it. The ADL said it. Oh, no. Must be true. Let's see. Can somebody send me a link to the ADL article saying the phrase Christ is king is anti-Semitic, or saying Christ is king is anti-Semitic? I swear, if I see the article and the ADL does indeed say Christ is king is anti-Semitic, or the phrase is anti-Semitic, or saying Christ is king is anti-Semitic, if I see that, I will acknowledge it and I will say, wow, terrible. I was wrong. Please, somebody link me to it. I will look at it and I will acknowledge it. Fake Yogi Bear says, "Did you know Christ is King originates from the Book of the Council of Nicaea, which was removed from the Bible by the Jews?" CIA instructed. Yeah, according to the great scholar Sneako. Sankey said, "I'd take the fake outrage more seriously if it wasn't being propped up by people who do nothing but shill for Muslims, pimps, and Nazis all day long." Yeah, precisely. That's the problem here. GoTop said, "How about you sneak over here, baby?" Gorno said, "Anyone think John from What Do You Mean looks like he should be or has been in the military? Also play Command and Conquer Renegade. It's good. I played that when I was a child. It was good back then. Right now it's probably terrible." David, what do you think about the comment, the disrespectful comment about John?
Yeah, John was not in the military. Before he blew up on YouTube, he was in a band with his twin brother, and I'll just say some of the worst music I've ever heard in my entire life.
Well, he was not. Are you saying that John doesn't like the military? Are you saying he hates America?
He does kind of look like someone who could have been in the military. He keeps a very short haircut and so on. So yeah, I can see that. But no,
Are you trying to say he wants to ban the military? Okay, good. That's what we do nowadays. Still haven't seen a link for the ADL. Maybe somebody who is in touch with me directly can send me a link to the ADL article or tweet or whatever it is, saying don't use the phrase "Christ is King" because it's anti-Semitic.
No, actually, what? Because I'm thinking about making a video about this. So if a group like the ADL is actually saying this, I would like to look at what they're saying and
yeah, of course,
and disagree where they're wrong.
Yeah, if they're saying this, I would totally say, hey,
if they say
this is going too far, don't do this.
If they say the claim Christ is King is anti-Semitic, I would like to respond to that.
Yeah, I would say, ADL, look, I have been very much standing against these Jew haters and so on, and I'm completely in solidarity with Israel in these times, but this is going too far. Apologize right now. How dare you? I will say that. I will say that as soon as I see it. Grays174 said, "Well, Christ is King for the Jews too. They just don't think he is Jesus, and also don't use the Greek version of that title." Hey, what did Sneako recently say when he was at the table talking to Mohammed Hijab about Jesus? Did he just call it Mishik, or did he say Miki? Because he couldn't pronounce it, and he didn't know.
Yeah, I don't remember
that it's a word.
Yeah, he sounded like a dope though. Yeah,
that was funny. Yeah. So
he also didn't know the Shahada. Remember?
Yeah. I'm already predicting that when this stream is over, nobody will have sent me a link, and they will say, and some people will say later in the comment section when the stream is over, the ADL said it, you just didn't want to acknowledge it.
I'm looking for it right now, because it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if they had said something. I'm looking through their Twitter feed. I don't see anything.
Yeah. I asked for a link. They said, "Oh, it's on the Twitter." I also scrolled through the Twitter here as you were talking. I couldn't see anything, but if you see it, please bring it up to me. I'll acknowledge it. I will acknowledge it, and I will apologize, and I will repent. Apostate Aladdin said, "Please be considerate. What if underage Hispanic neo-Nazi catboys are watching this stream? Be considerate about their feelings. Don't hurt them."
No, you need to read that correctly.
It's too late. Big Rig,
you ruined that.
0485 said, "Muslim, Christ is King. You know that means he's the Son of God, right? Muslim, run Bible corruption.exe." Yeah. There was a Dilly Hussein also said something about it. Wait a minute. Do I have him here?
The dilly.
Pickle. Dilly. Christ is King. A dilly.
And then I dilly, I ran through an alley. I bumped into my own girl, Sally, from the valley.
You know what's so hilarious? These neo-Nazis actually team up with people like Dilly Hussein and attack the Jews. Meanwhile, Dilly Hussein wants to turn Western nations into Islamic countries. that are increasingly populated by people from Muslim countries.
Mm-hmm.
And they are quite open about it, and he's quite open about it. He says,
Mhm.
well, as soon as we have the chance, we will of course work toward turning this country Islamic. And you can't say anything about this. And these guys are getting together with this guy who openly says he wants to do this, and talk about Jews trying to destroy the West and take over or something like that.
Yeah, it's I'm sure you saw that that clip from a little while ago from Sheikh Yasser Qadi, where he was saying, "Hey, and if we're our birth rates in some of these Western cities are going to allow us to take over the cities, and we're going to have majority populations and so on." He's like bragging about this. Hey, we're going to actually control these cities. And I just raised the issue. Hey, this is Sheikh Yasser Qadi talking about Muslims taking over Western cities. What would he think if it was a Jewish rabbi talking about just moving into cities and taking over cities in the West Bank? Suddenly it would become the most evil thing in the world, but it's totally 100% acceptable for them.
What's also funny is lately, since October 7th, I see neo-Nazis come in and say to me, well, who is behind all the migration waves? Who is trying to flood Western nations with Muslims and all that? Who is behind it? We know it very well. And then they post these stupid conspiracy theories of supposedly Jews being behind all of that. When in reality, organizations that have been advocating for more immigration are not even majority Jewish. But then, while doing this, they actually partner up with actual Islamists who openly say that they want to do this. This is just, I don't understand. How can people be so dumb? I just generally don't get it.
And the amazing part is all the Muslims jumping in on this. These are the guys who, if you say anything they disagree with on anything, hey, you're being Islamophobic. It's Islamophobic. Everything is Islamophobic. Oh, you said pedophilia is wrong. That's Islamophobic. Oh, you said you shouldn't be banging little kids. That's Islamophobic. How dare you with the Islamophobia? Oh my goodness, this is Islamophobic. And then you say, hey, neo-Nazis are using this phrase to why are they saying that's anti-Semitic?
Look, the Daily Wire's Jewish host, Andrew Klavan, pretty sure he is actually a Christian, but he is of Jewish ethnicity, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a Jewish convert to Christianity.
Yeah. So here is a Muslim trying to hop onto this and attacking a Christian and accusing him of being Jewish, which, of course, as we know, from his perspective, is a very bad thing. So I don't know. Maybe Jews shouldn't be siding. Maybe Christians shouldn't be siding with the Islamist here on this one. The Daily Wire's Jewish host Andrew Klavan says Christ is King is an anti-Semitic dog whistle, but Jews are also God's chosen people. Both Muslims and Christians believe that Jesus is the chosen Messiah who will kill the Antichrist and will rule with complete justice. This is very, very nice, very deceptive, Dilly Hussein. I wonder why you don't speak the full truth here.
Yeah, and it's just crazy. I mean, you're talking about some of the most evil people there are, right? Like I understand there are perfectly nice Muslims who wish no ill will upon. This ain't one of them. This ain't one of them. This guy is an evil, terrible, terrible person who despises Christianity and wants Christians completely subjugated under Islamic rule. That's what he wants. But oh, here's an opportunity for Christians and Muslims to be buddies and go after the Jews, and they'll all jump on that bandwagon.
This is one of those smug
Fascinating
bastards who have no problem lying in order to advance their political agenda. One of those people. Look at this. I wonder why he doesn't post the full narrative. Here it is. Allah's messenger said, "The hour will not be established until the son of Mary descends amongst you as a just ruler. He will break the cross." Ooh, he will break the cross, kill the pigs, and abolish the jizya tax. And you pointed out recently that abolishing the jizya tax has been interpreted by certain Islamic scholars as
killing Jews and Christians.
Yes,
because Jews and Christians are if there's no more jizya, then you're not paying tribute money anymore. So you've been eliminated.
Yeah, so abolishing the jizya tax would mean that there is no more jizya tax required because the Jews and Christians no longer exist, and he will come and break the cross, which can be seen as fighting and ending Christianity. So this is what This is what Dilly actually believes, and he knows this very well. He knows exactly what he's doing here when he tries to deceptively lie to people and just present some fake solidarity with Christians just to attack the Jews. But let's see what Clavin is saying here. Maybe he did say that the phrase "Christ is King" is anti-Semitic. Let's see.
You know, when I did this, by the way, the priest who baptized me said, you know, Christians won't accept you. You'll still be a Jew. And I said, well, I am. That's my race. I'm a Jew. I'm proud of my race. It's a great race. It's done many, many great things, including write the Bible. And, you know, I am a Jew. But that hasn't happened at all. Christians have welcomed me with open arms, except this Christ the King anti-Semitic crowd. Christ is the King, and one day every knee will bow and recognize.
Wait. Just said Christ is King.
People are telling me that he said Christ is King is anti-Semitic, but he just said Christ is King.
And he said he's talking about an anti-Semitic crowd who is saying Christ is King. And that he said Christ is King.
It almost sounds like people are misrepresenting this guy.
Shocker.
That's very, I am very surprised. I'm extremely surprised. I didn't expect this at all.
Recognize it because he's not just my king, he's king of the universe. But
let's hear this again.
Semitic crowd. Christ is the king, and one day every knee will bow and recognize it because he's not just my king, he's king of.
Whoa, he's anti-Semitic.
He's not just my king, he's king of kings.
The universe. But when you use that phrase to mean that God has abandoned his chosen people, the Jews, through whom he came into this world incarnate, and that he's broken his promises, his covenant with the Jews, you are quoting scripture like Satan does in the Bible. You are quoting scripture to your purposes, and that to me is specifically wicked. You know, when you spit that phrase at Ben Shapiro,
I think he said wicked, but it sounded like Wiccan. What do you think about what he just said, David?
You do have, you have different interpretations of the status of Jews now in the world today. But I mean, it's not just that. It's not just you're saying, if you're saying Christ is king and you're a groiper, that you're saying God has abandoned his people or something like that. I mean, these guys they want Jews eliminated, right? They want Jews eradicated. So he's actually giving a very, very tame interpretation.
Yeah, I don't know why he's being
what these guys are about.
Yeah. Continue. Sorry. Continue.
Oh no, that was it.
Okay,
now, as I pointed out earlier when we mentioned Andrew Clavin, I said there are other things that he said that a Christian would object to. Like it sounds like he's saying that Jews like Ben Shapiro don't really need Jesus because they're doing what God wants or something like that. Plenty of Christians would say, what are you talking about? I mean, Jesus is the Messiah for them too. And so you should be preaching, because it kind of comes across like you don't preach Jesus to Jews or something like that. I mean, I don't know if I'm misinterpreting what he's saying or something like that. So anyway, there are things that a Christian could object to. But what he's saying about the phrase Christ is king, and he went ahead and said it, so he obviously can't be saying the phrase is anti-Semitic because he said it himself. The fact that he's pointing out that this is kind of an anti-Semitic dog whistle being used by people, of course, yes, it's being used by people to manipulate Christians into siding with them on issues that they would not otherwise side with them on.
But he's not finished yet. Let me continue. Why are you talking?
Shapiro, my friend. And that to me is specifically wicked. You know, when you spit that phrase at Ben Shapiro, my friend Ben Shapiro, and you know, I understand this. All of you who love Ben, and I love Ben, and Jordan Peterson, you all want to see them find Jesus because you know what joy and freedom that gives you, and you certainly feel that it alters your relationship with God. But when I think about this, to be honest with you, you know, and I know some people will disagree with this, but life is not a game show where you guess the name of God and you get to go to heaven. Honk, you know, yes, the name is Jesus. I look at Ben's life and I think if Ben were to embrace Jesus Christ, it would cause devastation to his family, to the people who love him, to the people who listen to him, to his position in the world. I just have this feeling that God has put this guy where he wants him to do what he wants him to do. And as you know, I feel that, the Jews were not abandoned by God. Grown.
All right, this is it.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, so that's what if a Christian were going to object to something, it would be that. It's like, oh, Ben's fine. It would actually be bad for him to become a Christian because it would actually cause a lot of conflict and mess up his life. And he's doing great stuff. That's what a Christian would object to. Something else though, that because he's talking about running around saying Christ is king to Ben Shapiro.
Mhm.
Here would be my view. If you're not talking about if it's not coming from the Groyper side, if it weren't coming from neo-Nazis and so on, and you wanted to say it, and you just wanted to say it, it's like, what kind of impact do you actually think that's going to have? If you were actually going to persuade Ben Shapiro that Jesus is the Messiah, it's not going to just be by tweeting Christ is king at him or something. It's not. It would have to be some sort of serious study, some serious examination of prophecies, some serious discussions with him and maybe like Michael Brown and so on, some Messianic Jews who are going to actually go through the scriptures with them. It has to be something like that. It's not just going to be, hey, if I just say Christ is king, then that might have a big impact. How is that going to have any sort of impact on him? So it's like, why are you doing it? It's almost like I'm doing it just to show that I did it, and not because I'm trying to have any sort of meaningful impact on him. So that's kind of my view. It's like, if you're just saying Christ is king, even if it weren't associated, like, what do you actually think you're doing? I don't know. I'm just a fan of something a little deeper than saying slogans or something. If I were to even approach him, even if I were to approach him on Twitter, my question would be something more along the lines of, hey, Ben Shapiro, here's Isaiah 53, which lots of Christians interpret as a prophecy about Jesus. What is your understanding of it? I would say something like that, rather than just saying little phrases or slogans or something like that. Like, what do you think? What do you think you're actually doing? I don't know there.
Yeah. But the funny thing about all of this is that this guy is being brought up, including by people in the chat here, as one of the people who said that it is actually anti-Semitic, and yet he doesn't say any such thing, and he himself affirms the phrase.
He said it. He said Christ is king. He said King of Kings. He's King of Kings. And he said every knee will bow. It's like, wait. So every Jewish knee is going to bow. That's what he's saying. And
honestly, I think he's being too soft, and he's he doesn't he's not being direct and clear enough about the people who are actually deceptively and maliciously using the phrase, and he doesn't understand how certain people are indeed trying to weaponize and sneak into the crowds that normally and passionately and religiously use it in order to attack Jews, and then deceive other Christians into thinking that this is a battle between Jews and Christians. He should be. I think he should have done more to address that. He's being very mild in his response to the whole issue, but the guy is not at all saying anything that these people here are accusing him of saying. He himself says Christ is king, every knee will bow. That's it.
Yeah, I agree. He seems to have observed how people are using this with Ben Shapiro, and he's looking at them and seeing that they're using the phrase just to like throw it in the face of Jews. And so he's saying this is coming from an anti-Semitic crowd. But yeah, he doesn't seem to really be aware of where this is really coming from and who's pulling the strings on this movement. And yeah, it's like straight up neo-Nazis trying to rally support from Muslims and Christians against Jews. And yeah, you just have to say, we're not letting you get away with that, guys.
Don't call them neo-Nazis. They're very offended by that.
Don't care.
Just because they
facts don't care about their feelings. It's a dog whistle. It's an anti-neo-Nazi dog whistle.
You know what I think is worth covering? from a Christian perspective.
Hmm.
Just my opinion. I see some people misuse.
Oh my goodness! Why do you bring up the worst person in the world? I thought it couldn't get any worse. You're sitting there with Billy Hussein and Sneako and Andrew Tate, and I'm thinking, why is this guy bringing up the worst people? You can't possibly get any worse. And then here we go. My goodness.
He says, I don't know why people are arguing about the phrase Christ is king, and I want to remember this time of blissful ignorance when I inevitably discover the reason. Yeah, I
There you
hope
go.
he doesn't discover it.
Finally
It's
said
painful.
something correct. Like he can understand. Now, by the way, even for like a terrible person, there's a kind of wisdom in that comment. Like you can tell, hey, everyone's arguing about something. There's something else going on here, and it's going to suck that I have to find out what it is.
Yeah, that is a rare good moment. People claiming that retarded things and so on. Yeah, whatever. Here, this is, look at this. This person is obviously just trying to express their belief in Jesus. But
that should say Christ is king and a Jew. That's what that should say.
Oh man, these people. So Lauren Shin. Oh, this was a different thing. This is, I bookmarked this because it's about Muslims and Christianity. She's one of those people who are lately falling for the whole idea that Islam isn't actually that bad. I've tried to explain the similarities between Islam and Christianity, and will have Muslims agree with me, but then a bunch of people who have read like 2 verses from the Hadith, which they think is the same as the Quran, will be like, no, they want to kill us all. She also said that most of Islam is misunderstood and peaceful or something like that. I don't know. She needs to have somebody educate her on the basics of Islam.
It really seems like people go through this phase, and it seems like they go through this phase where then their popularity declines, and it doesn't have to be intentional. It's just, I have to expand to new groups and stuff, and people just gravitate towards getting a Muslim crowd. That's Sneako. That's Andrew Tate. That's what's his face, who just the grifter who just reverted. It's all these guys. It's Jake Shields. It's everyone's like, hey, if I want an instant bunch of followers to tack on to my already existing followers, just start saying some stuff. Just start saying some stuff that's nice about Islam or against Jews. And
look at this imbecile. The owner of Daily Wire doesn't want you saying Christ is king. I bet most of you dumb Christians keep paying a membership and blessing the terrorist state of Israel. And he even quote tweets it. Like I can't even accuse him of twisting it and hiding the truth. He actually quotes the tweet, and then it says, and then claims the owner of the Daily Wire doesn't want you saying Christ is king. David, we just read the tweet.
Not what he says. Not what he says at all.
We just read the tweet, and he doesn't say any such thing at all. On the contrary, he tells Christians, no, say it. Say it. Continue saying it. Proudly say it. Declare it. And it's true. But if you use it in this way, then this is evil. And you're disrespecting God. That's what he says. And this guy's saying, the owner of the Daily Wire doesn't want you saying Christ is king.
Yeah, it's all one massive straw man, right? They're all attacking something that no one is saying. No one is saying what they claim everyone is saying.
Oh, I actually had somebody posted a very nice meme about that. Maybe memes help to better understand the issue here. Somebody posted a meme about what is actually going on here, how this entire discussion is going. And let me see. Oh yeah, right here. There it is. There it is. Look at this. It says, this is all of Twitter right now. Insufferable. Here it says, people shouldn't say Christ is king in self-righteous mockery of other people. Don't tell me I can't say Christ is king as it's a true statement. I didn't say that. I'm just saying don't take the Lord's name in vain. Christ is king, and you're telling me I can never proclaim it. Stop pretending you don't understand exactly what I mean. This is pretty much what's happening here.
That's a good little meme there.
Yeah. It's not as good as I thought it was at first, but yeah, it's
pretty good. It's pretty good. We should try and make a better one. Ooh, we should make some memes about this.
It's not the worst. It's not the worst I've seen. No, I actually made one earlier, and I wanted to post it, but then I thought, you know what? I don't care. Yes. What is this? Since Christ is king is trending. This is too much. I can't read this. What is this? Who's this person?
It's Ali Beth Stuckey.
I don't know who Ellie Beth Stuckey is. Am I supposed to know
She's
this?
a Christian.
Okay. I wanted to take the opportunity to explain what the truth it really means. Politically charged, ancient word, Greek sought reason, the Romans. Okay, I'm sure this is very interesting. Yes.
Yeah, it's too much for AP to actually ponder anything beyond 2 lines.
I would need to see memes or random pictures.
Memes, or it doesn't matter.
Yes. If it's not a meme, I'm not going to look
If you can't say it in a meme, how true can it be?
Speaking of not reading, look at this. This is the general attitude.
I ain't reading all that. Christ is king.
Yeah. Pretty sure that this is true for most of the people who are outraged about Jeremy Boring. They actually haven't read the text here. Have just concluded that that he says Christ is king is anti-Semitic. So therefore, they once again repeat Christ is king. Okay,
that's it. By the way, that's an ongoing issue that you can say someone said something and even link to it, and people are so freaking dumb. It's like Muhammad Hijab saying, "Oh, here's the article that says there's a 100-to-1 ratio of civilian to fighter casualties," and every last one of his moron fans go, "Oh yeah, it's right there. He shared the link. It's right there. 100-to-1. It's 100-to-1. That's right. Oh man." When if you can even read words, it's not what anyone is saying. But it's a version of the 99-1 rule. If 100 people read you saying this person said this and even linking to it, like maybe one person actually reads it and goes, that's not what the dude's saying, but 99 just roll with it. So if 99% of the people are going, oh my goodness, I can't believe you're saying that, and then they run and freak out, and then a bunch of other people respond, then all of a sudden you got millions of people freaking out. Oh my goodness, they're saying that Christians can never say Christ is king. Oh, we have to stand up for Jesus right now.
Yeah. That is indeed true. Then there's here this guy again, whoever this is, looks like not a real person. If saying Christ is king is now considered anti-Semitic, then I'll be the first to admit I'm anti-Semitic as F. I don't care what you Satan-worshipping Jesus haters think. Christ is king. This guy is again talking to people who don't exist. That is very, 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 very funny and very fantastic. You know what I think is something that should be addressed from my perspective? That's what I think. In my humble opinion, I think lots of these neo-Nazis misuse a certain phrase or a certain term in the Bible, which is the synagogue of Satan. And they bring this up often to act like this is a statement clearly from the scripture about Jews, about all Jews. And I read the passages myself. It's clearly not. And this could be something interesting to go into on a Christian platform. From I don't know if you want to do that or if somebody else wants.
No,
to
that
do
would
that.
be good for that would be good to get vocab up in there, because the Black Hebrew Israelites use this a lot. Like they're the real Jews, and the Jews who are pretending to be Jews, they're the synagogue of Satan. So yeah, vocab's done a lot. Yeah, that'd be good.
That would be an interesting discussion. Grand Lord Catching said, AP, when will you admit that you are not an atheist but a secret Sneakoist, a follower of Sneako the Wise? You are finished, boy. Indeed, I have recently experienced brain damage, and I am now a Sneako follower. Thank you for pointing that out, Grand Lord. Wizard said, you shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. Unfortunately, Candace has been leading the movement of misusing the name of God. And others are joining in on that and trying to deceive other Christians into doing it as well, which I'm not a Christian. But I see that and I'm thinking, wow, this is really disgusting. I feel disgusted by it. Deacon Knob said, David, concerning your friend in prison, Randy, do you know what came of him? Are you still in touch?
Yep. Send him money every month. He's still in there.
Nice.
Send him every month. I send him money every month. You know why? Because prison sucks if you don't have any money. But things are significantly better if you can buy snacks and radios and books and stuff like that. So
What do you mean prison sucks? I thought prison is good.
No, it sucks if you don't have any money to buy some stuff. Prison's cool. Prison's a blast. I mean, don't go to prison just because I said prison's a blast. And it depends on the area. I was East Coast. The further west you go, the more it becomes you have to join some like gang based on your race and stuff like that. It's usually not like, it's not like that nearly as much on the East Coast and so on. So if you like to read and work out and goof off and play spades and stuff like that, and it's paradise.
I mean, I always wanted to go to prison, so I'm still trying to get there. Just haven't succeeded yet. Input latency said, I've heard that there were multiple interpretations of the idea of Messiah, one of those being the Son of God. So the high priest is asking, are you the Christ in this way? God bless friends. David says, yes.
It's more like there are multiple meanings and understandings of Son of God. Everyone would grant that the Christ is the Son of God in some sense, but what exactly do you mean by that? And when the high priest asks, "Are you the Christ, the Son of the Blessed One?" and Jesus responds, "I am, and you will see the Son of Man coming with the clouds of heaven." That's when they flip out, because he connected his understanding of Son of God to the Son of Man in Daniel 7, who's a divine figure who's going to be worshipped by all nations. Then they freaked out. Then it's all together. You're Christ, so you're the Messiah, you're the Son of God, you're the Son of Man coming with the clouds of heaven from Daniel 7. Oh, you have got to die now, because that is some extreme claims from you.
It is indeed. So no idea what you just said, but I'm sure it was something.
Of course
good.
not. You were giggling. You were like, Sneako, what a silly name. oh, think about this word. It's so cool.
Sneako. So then the Elkin said, AP said Christ is king. We got him. Not only once. Who can count how many times I said it? 5,000 times. John Shore said, crispy onion ring. French fries lovers, don't behead me. How dare you? A Vijay fan says, game theory, Muhammad was Michael Jordan. That is actually true. Why though? Sahih Musquis said, Dawagandists. That is true. 5 Solo Pesos said, so basically the phrase Christ is king has been hijacked to sing dog whistles while using Christianity as a shield. Pretty much.
And guys, yes, so there is the issue. The real issue right now from a Christian perspective is what you do about this situation, because you don't want to let a bunch of neo-Nazis hijack the phrase Christ is king. So yeah. I haven't thought through this a ton, because this being this huge issue is brand new. They've been doing this for a while, but this becoming a super huge issue is happening right now. So my gut would say start using Christ is king to expand upon the meaning and so on, you know, for Muslims, like what I did I think I did it in a tweet. Did I do it in a tweet? Yeah, I did it in a tweet in a response to Sneako. I pointed out that saying that Jesus being the Messiah is connected to him being the Son of God. So I would just start packing theology into discussions of the claim. Like, as in, if you're on Twitter or something like this, or you're making a video or on Facebook or whatever, hey, I see the phrase Christ is king is trending. Here's how it's being used. But, and then go into some basic Christian theology and gospel.
That's true. And thank you very much, 5 Silver Pesos. I don't know why there are 80 super chats. I was just intending on going live for like an hour or two.
Yeah, you're really everything. Rapid fire. You don't have to speak for 3.5 hours on every super chat.
Garrett de Blake said, have either you, AP, and David Wood thought to express these arguments in a published book? First off, thank you very much for this very nice super chat. Secondly, no, books are for losers, as Andrew Tate said, and I only follow what Andrew Tate says.
Go. Next one. What are you waiting on? Christmas?
Apostate Boohoo said, what if someone who is part of a Tateianity joins the stream and you remove the picture of Tate on the cross? They might be offended. Tate is top G.
He's got a point. Apostate Boohoo.
Like Wayne said, can someone please tell Sneako that Christ is a Jew? No, he did make a tweet which was like Jesus was a Palestinian, which is just
that's something else, and I will probably emphasize that probably, you know, tonight or tomorrow or something like that, you know, the Almighty The Almighty, he's all-knowing, so he knows that Jews are going to be the most hated group in the world, and that's who he decides to become, incarnate as.
That is
a
true.
Jew.
Sneako is the king of voyeurism. So, Deep Learner said David is wood. How to Not said, imagine someone shouting Christ is king before blowing themselves up. Happens all the time. Don't you see
Every
it?
day.
Every day. Every
Just
day.
happened, just happened in Moscow. Just in Moscow.
Yeah, in Moscow they said Christ is king, and then Daniel Mossad Jew said, "You blew my cover. Now I have to hide in my Talmudic tunnel." I still
look at that picture though. His picture's awesome.
Hey, that picture is that's from a thumbnail.
That's a fun picture.
Yeah. Script Colby said, for the children, top C here again. That Catholic cowboy back for more apostasy and blasphemy. Bring it, boys. They deserve to hear it. Love you, man.
Did you see earlier? He posted a video. He said, "Make dua for Allah, and Allah will make dua for you." It's like, wait, what? Supplication? Allah's gonna make supplication for you?
Did he say that?
Yeah, he said that. It's in his video. It's on my Twitter.
Imbecile. How to Not said, imagine someone shouting Christ is king. I already read this, man. What's your problem? Eunuch Petsu said Christ was a Jew. I'm still anxious about David Wood's vocal. Yeah, David, something is happening with your throat. You should probably go.
I've had a cold or COVID for over 2 weeks now.
Script Colby said gifted 3 memberships and helped us expand this cult. Very, very nice. Grau and Richard said Alidawa Christ is king, yeah. Mycroft Holmes says Muslims saying Christ is king is a new Christian shahada. Indeed. There should be more Muslims saying that. Remember, Athens, Jerusalem keeps out Alexandria. Yep. Immortal Muslims saying they love Christ too is like eating cereal with ketchup and telling cereal lovers they love cereal too. Terrible comparison. Absolutely terrible comparison. But yeah, pretty much. Cool Abeman Kill says, can you please react live to Family Guy 72 Virgins? Was it an actual thing in Family Guy? I saw a video, but I'm not sure if that was real.
It wouldn't surprise me. They had some whole entire thing on Saudi Arabia. If you have a labia, stay away from Saudi Arabia. It was awesome.
They had the most. They have the darkest, most messed up jokes in that show, and it's funny. Marquis Dinar said it's okay for white Anglos to be against Zionism. What? How dare you? It's not okay. It's just racist. No, yeah. I don't care. Sure. I just think it's stupid. And I think there, if you are specifically against Zionism, not sure why. You probably have a problem. You probably have a problem with the people that Zionism is for. Why are you specifically against Zionism? Why not any other country? Why not any other country's existence? Why not any other country's reason or ideology to exist? Why is it that you have a problem with the existence of the Jewish state, of a state for Jewish people itself? And don't come to me with how they are treating Palestinians and this and that. They're not treating Palestinians in a terrible way. They're treating Palestinians in a very, very good way, except, of course, when the Hamas is at war with them. And what was I going to say? Other than that, there are lots of other countries that treat people significantly worse, that actually genocide other people. If you have a problem with countries that do things to other people, you should have a problem with those. You shouldn't have a problem with the existence of a state for Jews. If you do, then I just say you probably hate Jews. Don't complain about being called anti-Semitic. Chameleon said Jeremy Boring is Protestant and he was a pastor. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, matter of fact, now that he just said that, I remembered that I heard that he was a pastor of like a small church at some point. So yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense. Brent and friends said Palestine was already there. Read a book. There was never a country named Palestine in that place. If you look at a map that you see online and it says Palestine, it is referring to a regional name that European nations used because the Romans at some point almost 2,000 years ago decided to name it that. And before that, by the way, if you want to use that argument, it was called the province of Judea. So yeah, there you have it.
Yeah, dude, quick, very brief rundown, but you don't even know this. You had Israel. The Jews get conquered. Well, I mean, they got conquered multiple times and so on. Eventually,
This is too long. You have to make it faster.
The Romans conquer them. Then afterwards, the Romans convert to Christianity. So then Christians have the land. Then Muslims come in and conquer the Christians there. And then Muslims have it. And then Christians take it back. And then Muslims take it back. And then it's part of the Ottoman Empire for many centuries until the Ottomans fight alongside the Germans against the Western nations. Western nations defeat them. Then it is controlled by the British. The British decide how to divide it up, and they decided to give Jews a tiny little piece of the Ottoman Empire because the Muslims in the area wanted to brutally murder them. They decided Jews have to have something that they have control over, and you can't stand it. Much of the world can't stand it.
Dummies. Mystery Flavor said, thank y'all for calling out this attempt at subverting the gospel.
AP, defender of the gospel, cherub of justice.
I must say, in a very rare moment of not bragging, but it may sound like bragging, Groypers, I have probably done more for Christianity than you guys.
You should say that. That should be in a tweet.
Seriously. And I don't even think that's an exaggeration at all.
That's a little... Yeah, make a little tweet saying that. Dear Groypers, by objecting and refuting your attempt to use the phrase Christ is King for your racist neo-Nazi purposes, I've done more for the gospel than you have. That's it. That's your tweet.
Christ as King was a phrase used by the early church to relate Jesus to equal to the Father, who the Jews call King of the universe.
Sneako thinks that Jesus is King of the universe.
And thereby he has left Islam. John Cho said, I put ketchup in my shawarma. Come at me, Palestinians. How dare you, man? Get out of here. B.Apologetics said, Goat lives are king. Yes. Ostation said, hey, Wood Dog, have you heard of this new book called Christ Before Jesus? And it's about how Jesus may not have existed, and was wondering if you'd be down to check it out, maybe on a stream, and give your thoughts.
Jesus may not have existed. Guys, that is the... Yeah, any idiot can write something and defend a claim. This is one of the areas where Bart Ehrman, you remember Bart Ehrman when he's asked about this? And he was at some conference and stuff like this, and they're like, I've examined the evidence, and blah. And he said, I understand that's popular in whatever crowds you run with. I run with scholarly crowds, and there's no one in my field who thinks that Jesus didn't exist. This is an atheist. So, guys, yeah. I mean, saying, oh, if you checked out this new book saying that Jesus may not have existed, it's like, David, check out his new book defending the flat earth. Check out this new book. Dude, I'm just not interested.
The most serious scholar in I don't know, in Christian history who is an atheist, one of the most serious scholars would be Bart Ehrman, and he says without a doubt he did exist, and he did die on the cross. Yeah. And so on.
Yeah. So yeah, actual scholars, even if they're atheists, agnostics, Jewish scholars, whatever they are, they don't just grant that Jesus existed. It's that you can know certain facts about him, like he died on the cross and so on.
Thoughts on Paul Joseph Watson? I find him I used to watch him just for entertainment because I kind of find him funny, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't really recall. I have seen, I can almost picture him in my head. So I've seen some of his videos before, but yeah, I don't know enough.
He has a very interesting way of talking. I think he kind of, I don't know. I haven't heard of him in a long time. Not sure. Brigham Young said, I see Ridvan the ape man has embraced the name. Your ape men are your followers. However, for me, Jesus is Lord. Share my shekels with the wood. No, I will not.
No,
they
will
be caught here forever. Caught here forever. Huh. Take that. Input latency said, I think Fuentes needs to find Christ. That could be another option aside from my suggestion. It's probably better than my suggestion. But yeah.
And guys, one because I just mentioned a few minutes ago that one of the issues that's going to be relevant here in the very near future is how you actually want to respond to Christ is King trending and so on. And I said you can unpack the basic Christian theology in various ways. But one thing to do would be, I agree Christ is King, which is why you should agree, and then some claim of Christ. And basically telling groypers they have to agree with that, and basically telling Muslims that since they're saying Christ is King, they need to agree to that too.
Yeah. It always reminds me of the recent discussion about Jesus was a Jew, and people are going, no, it's not true. Jew is literally the English word for Judean, for Yehudi, which Jesus literally uses in the Gospels to refer to himself.
Shake your booty versus Rabbi Yehudi. Huh?
Yeah. Huh? Yes, let's do that. Apostate Allah-Din says Lauren Chen is basically Asian Candace nowadays, fangirling the same crowd and grifting the same way. Also goes out of her way to suck Islam. I don't know enough about her to confirm or agree with this or take this as a fact. I have to look into that, but thank you for this piece of information. I don't know anything about her. Not much, at least. I know that she was at some point popular and she was on The Blaze or something. Mark Widena said, Nick Fuentes is more evil than IDF killing the Yes. The Sahih Masker said, debate Nick Fritos.
That was funny when she was in Nick Fritos.
Oh, yeah, that was Tree. Shout out to Tree of Logic. Tree of Logic. She calls him Nick Fritos. Debate Nick Fuentes.
Testicle. They're saying testicle liquor. Fuentesticle liquor. They're saying Nick Fuentesticle liquor.
Yeah. Elena says groypers showing up like speaking of the devil. I know it's I love these guys. Like they're so insufferable, but they also always show up, and it's nice. Hey,
is there who's got the dumbest, most evil fans in the world? I mean, I can't say that the groypers are the dumbest, most evil fans in the world, but they're up there in the running, man. They're in the running. I'm talking to you groypers who showed up.
Yeah, I must say, look, we deal with Islamists a lot. I deal with Islamists a lot. I get responses, I get comments, I get messages, all kinds of things from Islamists a lot. But you know what? It's especially sick and especially messed up when I get something from the groypers.
Yeah.
Like
it's never anything that's just not just sick and evil, right?
Yeah.
Like every time you hear from the guys,
they are more messed up than the Islamists. I have to admit, this is like the worst moment. I have to admit this. They are worse than the Islamists.
Groypers.
Yeah, groypers are worse than Islamists.
They're worse than Islamists.
Yes, 1002 said.
You heard it from the Apostate
You can
Prophet.
quote me on that. Yes, 1002 said, doubt you see this, AP. Anyway, this is my jizya. I didn't see this. Pronote 22 said, AP, you found a name to the cult? Yeah, it's the People's Temple. Jesse said, David Wood, aren't these deceivers breaking the third commandment?
It's debatable, but yeah, I think you can make that case, and you'd better err on the side of safety on that one.
Sheikh Mahbub said, Christ is king is a weird phrase. Everyone forgets the second part of kings, not presidents.
Well, the actual by far more common phrase among Christians would be Jesus is Lord.
Jesus is Lord. Jesus is Lord.
If you confess with your mouth, Jesus is Lord.
Peace be upon me, says AP, having Jerusalem syndrome. Christ is king indeed. Don't joke about Jerusalem syndrome. What if somebody with Jerusalem syndrome comes into the stream and hears this and then is completely offended and paralyzed? Chrome said, some Christians want to tell me Christ is king. Some Muslims want to kill me and my family. I choose the Christians.
Got a Star of David there. Funny.
That's nice. That is good. That is good. You see that, groypers? You see that? Stupid groypers. Imbecile groypers. Stupid, dumb, idiot groypers.
Well, that's what sucks. You've got groypers who want to kill you and your family.
That's true. Not only was Jesus a Jew, so were his 12 apostles, earliest disciples, and proselytizers. Anti-Semitic Christians are idiots. Prono 22, I personally only know one king, and that is Elvis Presley. How dare you?
Thank you very much.
But thank you. Prono22 also gifted 5 memberships once again. Always gifts memberships whenever he is here. That was very, 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 very nice. Amp said his hero was Kurt Cobain. No, maybe, I don't know. It's still disputed what happened to Kurt Cobain, isn't it? JOS QWERTY said, "Ah, yes, Jake Shield, the arbiter of Christian faith."
Yeah, I
Indeed.
always, every issue, I'm like, gosh, what does Jake Shields think about this? And then I go to him, and then I believe the exact opposite, because that will make me right 100% of the time.
Yeah, I have a thing. I have a wristband somewhere that says WWJSD.
Why is everyone named Jake nowadays a total douche? Why?
I don't know.
It used to be a cool name. Jake the Snake Roberts. It was cool. And now it's just like every person named Jake is some sort of total douche.
Whenever I'm in a dire situation, I think to myself, what would Jake Shields do? And I do exactly that. Ordro said it's not only a shield, it's a method of hacking the algorithm, generating traffic and mixing in anti-Semite content using the hype. Mixing evil things in feeds is how Twitter works. That is true. That is true. You're making a good point. Isn't it funny that there are a bunch of Jews here in the chat making super chats, and so far nobody has complained about the phrase "Christ is King"? I don't know what's happening here.
Wrong. The Jews are crying. They're crying because they heard it. They heard your anti-Semitic words.
Ibiga says, "Does Hakikat genuinely believe his conspiracy theories?" Earlier, I saw a tweet from him where he was posting a screenshot of a news article which says that former CIA, not CIA, U.S. military trained guy became ISIS official, which is what just happened. Is that the guy is in Georgia, the country Georgia. America goes there, trains troops. That guy becomes a commando, and he gets at some point discharged, fired from the military, and becomes a jihadist. And he's using that as evidence that that American military is ISIS. And he then also suggests so many top ISIS officials are people who had history with the CIA. And he makes that claim without a single piece of evidence. He lies. I'm still not entirely sure if Daniel Kikichu is actually a believer of his insane lies, or if he, I don't know.
If anyone in the entire Dawa community is actually a CIA plant set to destroy Islam from within, it's that guy. I don't think that he is. If anyone is, it's that guy.
Yeah, I was if I had to choose between all the other Dawa guys and Daniel, I would choose Daniel. Shio says Andrew Clavin is a Jew who converted to Christianity. Why would he say Christ is King is anti-Semitic? Reuters aren't exactly known for their intelligence, but I mean, come on. Yeah, exactly. And we have right there on the video, which these guys even post and say, look what he's saying. He's saying Christ is King is an anti-Semitic dog whistle. Right on that video, he stops and says Christ is King and every knee will bow. Cyan Roy says Nick Fuentes should invade Russia or marry his secretary, or you meant at the very end. No, the very, very end. That's what I'm talking about. Brigham Young says, how about we use the phrase on the cross, Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews? Personally, I would say use whatever you want. Just don't let these monsters hijack your beliefs and your phrases. Was Jeffrey Epstein running a Peter ring for Mossad? Nope, he was not. Nick Schubert said, hey, I messaged you on Twitter wondering if you could give me some advice on this, but if you're too busy, it's fine. I will check it out. Cheryl said, David, do you have to go? You keep looking around like, well, I need to go.
Yeah, I do need to go, but keep going. How many more of these you got?
Let's see. Legmagthigayon says, I'm a Jew and I love my Christian friends. Christ is King is obviously not anti-Semitic, but it is what Kanye would say when questioned about his idiotic streams of consciousness. I fear it may have regrettably become a meme among groypers. That is pretty much it. But how dare you, as a Jew, say that Christ is king is obviously not anti-Semitic? How dare you, as a Jew, decide what is and is not anti-Semitic? I bet a groyper would take this statement and do that with this. It doesn't really matter what you say as a Jew. As a Jew, you are evil. From their perspective, and they will take whatever you say and try to twist it and turn it into a statement against them, and then try to rile people against you. That's what they are. That's how they are. They are deceptive. But thank you for the super chat.
And one of the things the groypers do is anytime you disagree with them, they just kind of bombard you. And the goal is to wear critics down over time, right? They want to wear you down because they just relentlessly come at you posting nonsense about just anti-Semitic nonsense. And they just bombard you with it until you're like, oh gosh, I won't talk about these guys again because need to take a bath after saying one thing about these guys.
Oh, Simon Chris said the ADL article is in the Talmud. Trust us, bro. Okay, I need to check it out. They might have posted it in the Talmud.
It's in Libra. It's in Libra David.
Or God Shas.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, I keep seeing these it's in the Talmud, Libra David, and there's this whole awful quote, and it's just totally made up. It's not an actual book.
Yeah, the other reference is God Shas to there is no such book as God Shas. It's completely made up. It doesn't exist. And whenever you ask them, they disappear or try to distract with something else. They just post more of those stupid memes. It's so stupid. Androbako said, don't fight it, use it. We need to embrace and amplify the message and change it to Christ is king. He loves the Jews. I would say I wouldn't even suggest to change it. Just don't let them take it and change it. Via Brazilian said Christ is king is not anti-Semitic. Muslims who are trying to please Christians by using his phrase are. You don't even have to add anything after Muslims. Yeah. Arya V, hope Christians understand this is exactly how Hindus feel when they try to equate the holy swastika symbol with the evil bastards Hakenkreuz. Yeah, but you did it to yourselves. You shouldn't have that symbol. It's very offensive. Caleb Cash, I'm just joking. Caleb Cash became a YouTube member. Welcome to the club. I don't think there's anything else here, David. There are like about 20 super chats left. I will have to Apostate Boohoo. As a Jew, you're evil. AP, totally the whole quote. Christ is not an airplane to be hijacked. That's true. That's a good point. I didn't think of that. Thank you so much for looking forward to it.
Hey, no, even better. Find people who are quoting the Christ is king and then put, I mean, specifically Muslims who are using it. And then the response is, Christ is not an airplane to be hijacked by Muslims. Huh? That's good. That's even better, right?
That's good. That's good. Use that. Even Lord said, AP, have you tried to restore Zoroastrianism in Crusader Kings 3? Of course I have. Where do you think I am? I've tried everything. Arya V said, I hope Christians understand.
How many times are you going to say the same thing?
By the way, I already succeeded, by the way. B-Ram said, please forgive me if this come out wrong. I come with complete love. What makes being a Jew or a Muslim a race?
Muslim isn't a race.
Yeah, Muslim is not a race. Jew is a tribe. It's not really a race. It's there is an article on, I think, on My Jewish Learning or one of those websites, which responds to the question, are Jews a race? It's a very nice article. It basically describes what the actual Jewish perspective on the collective of Jews is. It's not the whole, we are a race and superior and all that stuff that the Nazis are projecting. That's garbage. If Winnie the Pooh says the Bible says you shall know them by their fruits, anyone can say Christ is king, but do they really follow Jesus Christ or just pretending? They are the great pretender. Cypher, David.
Yes.
David, can you please say now notice with your hands up and comment on Surah 33:53? I would actually piss myself.
Well, I definitely like making people piss themselves. It's a very long passage, so we'll keep this short. All right, Surah 33, verse 53, my favorite verse in the Quran. O ye who believe, enter not the dwellings of the prophet. Notice. Now notice. Enter not the dwellings of the prophet. This guy had multiple houses. This guy had multiple houses. Notice, what do Muslims say? They say that the reason Muhammad walked around constantly covered in semen is because he couldn't afford a semen rag, aka a hoochie coochie towel. He couldn't. He had to wipe himself with the same garment he wore to the mosque. And so they say that they defend this by saying he was so incredibly poor because he lived such a humble life that as he's getting all the war booty in both senses of that term, he's taking all this stuff, and it never occurs to him to take a rag to wipe the semen off of him from wherever it's coming from. Anyway, I'll just leave it at that.
That was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good. Not too bad. Not too bad. Cyan Roy said, Atheist AP spent hours in reading all the laws in the citizenship test. Christian David Wood, prison is dope. Draw your own conclusions. Greetings to both. That's true. That's a good point. Always think about it from that perspective. Doa said, has David mentioned how manly his bookshelf is, or is that only when it comes to Mike Winger? God bless.
I only pointed out when someone has like girly bookshelves, and I point out that I have a manly bookshelf made of pipes and lumber.
Based. Why hasn't David introduced Randy to his handler yet? He could be the next Mossab. Come on, man. Also, stop lying. We all know prison is hilariously fun. We do know that.
It is.
Melvin's Joy, would it be possible for a Muslim to shout Christ is king before an attack and get away with it for the glory of Allah? Future predictions? You can always try.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to hear that ever.
Giga chat of NPCs. Nick Fuentes is not a sincere Catholic. He didn't even know the Pope can't be a heretic in the debate with Jay Dyer. He's a fraud.
Oh, Jay Dyer debated him? Huh.
I think he did debate him a long time ago. I don't know why and how. Jeff Ellenberger, AP finally watched your One Mistake Destroys Islam. Very edifying. Thanks for pointing it out. David Wood, your video on Abraham's sacrifice you did a while ago was also great.
That was dope.
Thank you both, and God bless. Yeah, but the comment is actually about my video, and then yours is also great. So just want to point
We
that out.
saved the best for last, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but notice it's about me. So no, I'm glad. That's one of my favorite videos that I've ever done so far, and I like it. Hello, Outsider said the synagogue of Satan is not the Jews; it's those who say they are Jews but are not. And then a bunch of names attached, which I shall not read out. But yeah, so the context of it is basically it's not about how Jews are bad; it's about those who claim to be Jews and are not, and have qualities of which one shall talk further on a Christian platform. Giga chat of NPCs, the man who claims to be in the chair of Peter right now is an anti-pope. All claimants to the papacy were manifest heretics since Pius the 12th in 1958. Very, very disrespectful. Jack Ray said, "Wing not assemble." Fantastic. Anything else?
It's wingalings, not wing nuts. Get it right.
David, thanks for joining. Everybody, thanks for joining. Thanks for listening. Make it known widely that the Groypers are imbeciles. Don't let them hijack your plane. And Muslims who are using the phrase Christ is king to own the Jews are renouncing their Islamic beliefs. And I'm happy to see that. Lots of new ex-Muslims being made right now. Even if they become Christians, I'm happy with it. Ruby, what do you think about Cenk Uygur? I don't ever think about Cenk Uygur.
Not a fan.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Destroy Islam said, AB David Wood, was good seeing y'all in Israel. Hey! It was indeed. Have a fantastic day. And as always, David.
Stay away from Islam. Yeah.
Stay away from Islam.